Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that I believe, to some extent, has touched the lives of many of us, especially young and middle-aged people in America. That topic is, why many people always feel lonely and isolated. Dear friends, in a world where we seem to be constantly connected through social media, email, text messages, and countless other apps, it's paradoxical that feelings of loneliness and isolation have become one of the most common mental health issues. Many of us may have a lot of friends online, have busy social schedules, or are even in a relationship or living with family, yet still feel an emptiness inside, a sense of being disconnected, not understood, or not belonging. It's a very real and painful feeling. And understanding why we feel this way is the first step for us to find a way to overcome it. According to scientific research in psychology and sociology, loneliness is not simply being alone, but a subjective feeling of lacking the social connection you desire. You can be alone and not feel lonely. Conversely, you can be in a crowd and feel incredibly isolated. Prolonged feelings of loneliness not only affect mental health, leading to depression and anxiety, but also have negative impacts on physical health, increasing the risk of cardiovascular disease, weakening immune function, and even reducing lifespan. An older person has a very true saying, "One tree does not make a mountain." We are social creatures, and the lack of meaningful connections is a serious deficiency. So, what are the reasons why many young and middle-aged people feel lonely and isolated? Especially in the context of modern life and the pressures of this age group? Let's go into detail and see how these reasons manifest in their work and family life. The first and very common reason is lack of meaningful connection. We might have many acquaintances, colleagues, or people we interact with on social media, but we lack deep, authentic relationships where we can be ourselves, share our true thoughts and feelings, and feel understood. In the workplace, you might have friendly colleagues, but conversations only revolve around work, deadlines, or superficial small talk. You feel you cannot share personal difficulties, worries outside of work, or secret dreams. Even with many people around, you still feel like you are acting, and no one truly knows the real you. This creates a feeling of loneliness even within the work environment. In the family, even when living with your partner and children, you can still feel lonely if there is a lack of deep emotional connection. Conversations only revolve around household chores, the children's schedule, or finances, lacking sharing of emotions and personal experiences. It feels like you and your partner are living two parallel lives. Just people co-managing a family, rather than soulmates. Children can be busy with their own lives, and connecting with them on a deeper level can become more difficult as they grow up. Even with loved ones nearby, you still feel lost in your own home. The second reason is fear of vulnerability or rejection. Opening up, sharing your true self and your weaknesses with others requires courage. We fear that when we show our true selves, we will be judged, criticized, or rejected. This fear builds invisible walls, preventing deep connection. In the workplace, you might be afraid to share mistakes, work difficulties, or personal pressures with colleagues or superiors. You fear it will make you look weak or unprofessional, even when you need help or simply want to share your feelings. You remain silent, making you feel like you are facing everything alone. In the family, the fear of being hurt can make you avoid difficult conversations with your partner or children. You fear that expressing your true feelings will cause conflict, hurt others, or that you will not be understood. You might keep your worries, sadness, or frustration inside, causing the emotional distance between you and your loved ones to grow. This fear is like a cage, trapping you in loneliness. The third reason is societal pressure to present a perfect image. In the age of social media, we often feel pressured to showcase a successful, happy life without flaws. We only share the glamorous moments and hide the difficulties and imperfections. This creates a facade, making us feel like we cannot be ourselves and further increasing our feeling of loneliness. In the workplace, you might feel pressured to always appear busy, successful, and in control of everything. You don't dare admit that you are struggling, need help, or are simply tired. This prevents you from seeking support from colleagues or superiors, making you feel isolated in your own work environment. In the family, social media pressure can make you feel like you have to create an image of a perfect family. You only post smiling pictures and fun trips, while in reality, there are conflicts, difficulties, and moments of exhaustion. This makes you feel like you are living a virtual life online and a different life at home. This difference further increases the feeling of loneliness and isolation. You are afraid to share real difficulties with friends or family for fear of being judged or feeling like a failure. The fourth reason is the impact of social media. Although social media was created to connect people, it can also be one of the reasons many people feel more lonely. Constantly seeing the seemingly perfect lives of others can make us compare ourselves and feel inadequate. Interactions on social media are often superficial, lacking the depth and meaning of real-life connections. In the workplace, you might spend your lunch break scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, seeing what colleagues or old friends are doing. This can make you feel like you are missing out on exciting experiences or that your life is not as dreamy as others. Instead of using that time to connect in real life with those around you, you immerse yourself in the virtual world. In the family, spending too much time on social media can reduce the quality of interaction with your partner and children. You might sit next to each other on the sofa, but each person is on their phone, immersed in their own world. This creates an invisible distance, reducing bonding and increasing the feeling of loneliness right in your own home. Out of sight, out of mind, but sometimes, being in sight, but out of mind, is even more painful. The fifth reason is changes in life circumstances. Major life events such as moving, changing jobs, divorce, children growing up and leaving home, empty nest syndrome, or losing a loved one can disrupt existing social networks and make us feel lonely. In the workplace, moving to a new city for a job can mean starting over to build your entire social network and relationships from scratch. This process can take a long time and sometimes feel isolating. Leaving an old job where you had close colleagues can also cause a feeling of emptiness and lack of connection. In the family, divorce is not just the breakdown of a marriage but also a change in the shared social network. Children growing up and having their own lives can also make parents feel empty and lonely, especially if they have spent most of their time and energy raising their children. Losing a partner or a close family member is a huge loss, and the feeling of loneliness afterward is a natural part of the grieving process. The sixth reason is negative beliefs about oneself. Sometimes, the feeling of loneliness is not entirely due to a lack of external connection opportunities, but rather due to deep-seated, Negative beliefs about ourselves that make us feel unworthy of love or not good enough to have meaningful relationships. In the workplace, you might believe that you are not interesting enough or not special enough for others to want to be friends with you. This makes you hesitant to start conversations, reluctant to participate in social activities, and you create a distance from colleagues yourself. In the family, you might believe that your partner won't understand you if you share your true feelings, or that you are a burden to your family with your worries. These beliefs make you keep silent, avoid intimacy, and feel even more lonely in your own relationship. The seventh reason is lack of skills or opportunities for connection. Sometimes, we want to connect with others but don't know how to start or deepen a relationship. Or because life is too busy, we don't have many opportunities to meet and interact with new people. In the workplace, you might feel awkward trying to start a conversation with a new colleague, not knowing what to talk about besides work, or you don't know how to transition from a colleague relationship to a friendship. In the family, connecting with teenagers might require different communication skills than when they were younger. You might find it difficult to find common topics or ways to truly connect with them. The busy schedule of the whole family can also make planning shared activities difficult. The eighth reason is using busyness as a barrier or excuse. Sometimes we use the reason of being too busy to decline social invitations or avoid spending time with important people. Busyness can be real, but sometimes it's also a way for us to avoid facing fear or insecurity in social interactions. In the workplace, you might decline attending company parties with the excuse of being busy, although in reality you are just uncomfortable socializing or feel isolated in a crowd. In the family, after a stressful day at work, you might use fatigue as an excuse to avoid having deep conversations with your partner or playing with your children, and instead turn to solitary entertainment like scrolling through your phone. Busyness becomes a screen, hiding the feeling of loneliness and the real need for connection. The impacts of loneliness and isolation. Prolonged feelings of loneliness and isolation can have deep negative impacts on the lives of young and middle-aged people. At work, loneliness can reduce motivation, make it difficult to collaborate with colleagues, lead to feeling unsupported, and make problem-solving challenging. Stress levels at work increase, which can lead to burnout. Lack of connection with colleagues can also reduce opportunities for learning and advancement. For example, someone who feels lonely at work might be hesitant to ask questions when they don't understand, leading to mistakes, or not receiving valuable advice from experienced people. In the family, loneliness can cause serious strain on family relationships. Your partner might feel you are distant and not sharing, leading to conflict and lack of intimacy. Children might sense your emotional absence, affecting their development. Lack of connection can lead to misunderstandings, frequent arguments, and a feeling of isolation right in your own home. For example, a lonely parent might spend less quality time with their children, miss important moments, or be unable to be an emotional support for their children when they need it. On health, loneliness not only affects mental health but also has clear negative impacts on physical health. It can increase blood pressure, weaken the immune system, increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, stroke, obesity, and sleep problems. Loneliness is also closely linked to depression and anxiety. Lonely people often tend to use unhealthy coping mechanisms such as overeating, smoking, drinking alcohol, or using substances to relieve their emotions. For example, a lonely person might turn to alcohol after work to drown their sorrows, or eat unhealthy food to fill an emotional void. Recognizing the reasons why you or those around you feel lonely and isolated is an important step for us to start seeking solutions. This is not an issue that can be solved by simply trying harder, but requires a deep understanding of oneself and proactive effort in rebuilding connections. Overcoming loneliness requires us to be willing to face our fears, learn to express vulnerability in a healthy way, seek out opportunities for real connection, and build quality relationships, not focusing on quantity. It is a journey, and it takes time and perseverance. If feelings of loneliness and isolation become overwhelming, persistent, seriously impact your daily life, work, or relationships, or if you have thoughts of harming yourself, then you should seek help from mental health professionals. Experienced therapists can help you explore the underlying causes of loneliness, equip you with necessary social skills, and help you overcome the psychological barriers preventing you from connecting with others. When sick, one prays to all directions. Seeking professional support is a courageous act and an important step for you to regain peace and connection. Specific examples of starting to build connections. At work, start with small conversations with colleagues about topics outside of work, e.g., how was your weekend? Participate in company social activities, if available. Invite a colleague to lunch. In the family, spend 15 minutes each evening without phones to talk to your partner about something other than work and children. Plan a weekend activity that the whole family enjoys. Practice active listening when your child shares something outside of work and family. Join a club or group related to your interests, e.g., book club, yoga class, running group. Volunteer for an organization you care about. Attend local community events. Reconnect with old friends you've lost touch with. Dear friends, feelings of loneliness and isolation are a real challenge in the modern world, especially with the pressures of young and middle-aged life. But it is not destiny. By understanding the causes, being willing to face your fears, and being proactive in building meaningful connections, you can absolutely find belonging and a more fulfilling life. Don't hesitate to share your thoughts on this topic, your personal experiences, if you feel comfortable, or any questions in the comments section below. Our community is here to learn, share, and support each other on the journey to finding connection and happiness. And if you found this video helpful and want to discover more secrets to a healthier, more connected, and meaningful life, don't forget to hit the like button, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos.